Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather. Today I'm meteorologist Al Peterlin. I'd like to talk about the weather health risk for December 19th, 2025. We do keep additional graphics available at tpatw.com. And of course, for those who shop Amazon, we have a storefront, patient weather, on Amazon. And if you make your Amazon purchases through our storefront, it does support the activities of patient weather. Looking at the surface map for the 19th, we could see a rather unsettled weather pattern. Of course, that cold front will have already moved to the east, high pressure, and that is warming high pressure north. Notice all this southerly winds coming across most of the country. And then, of course, there is still that frontal system up in the Pacific Northwest with lots of rain from central California on up through Washington and over the mountains. But notice that there's a lot of snow extending across the northern plains, all the way across Dakotas up into the northern lakes. Our vitality index is a composite of all of the weather elements that can have an impact on human health, and you'll notice that really it is for much of the country, it's save for the southwest from southern Texas across New Mexico, Arizona, and southern California. Otherwise, it does look like there's some sort of weather health risk for much of the nation. Pressure change, of course, is always extremely important for many, and we have a lot of these pressure systems, high pressure, low pressure, flip-flopping willy-nilly across the country from day to day, and that is a significant risk for those that are sensitive. But we do have rising pressure here in the Pacific Northwest, Washington, Oregon, taking in Vancouver. And notice we have rising pressure again all the way from San Antonio across Houston, across Louisiana, and really all the way over to Georgia, and then everywhere north from the Tennessee and Kentucky and Ohio valleys, all the way from Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and picking up just the easternmost portions of Missouri, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Michigan. That is that rising pressure up and down the Mississippi and Ohio valleys. But we still have falling pressure now up the plains from the Texas Panhandle across Oklahoma Panhandle, much of Kansas, Nebraska, and the Dakotas, all the way on up and picking up the Canadian cities here, and probably even picking up Winnipeg. But we also are including portions of Wyoming and Montana. We also have still falling pressure and that frontal activity lingering in New England, actually from eastern New York State across almost all of New England and on into the eastern and southeasternmost sections of Canada. Temperature change, of course, with the bitter cold that we've had across most of the country. We are still looking at some more rising and falling temperatures, but for Friday, the temperatures will be falling back again for the eastern third of the nation, with warming temperatures here up the plains, and that will be our forecast for the remainder of the week as these warm temperatures from the plains slip eastward. Looking at dew point temperature change, falling much along the same change. We have falling dew point temperatures here in the extreme east. We have rising dew point temperatures with warming air temperatures up and down the plains, and the vapor pressure map confirming most of the same thing. Looking at POI, or the change in the availability of oxygen in the atmosphere, you'll see we have a risk of migraine spottily across Southern California, but really significantly across Washington, Oregon, on up into Vancouver, picking up Calgary, and portions of northern Idaho and northwestern Montana. A very large area of migraine risk stretching all the way from East Texas across Arkansas, picking up easternmost portions of Missouri on up to Wisconsin, and all the way across the lakes and picking up much of Pennsylvania, scooting on down and picking up Maryland, and then south all the way to Florida. We have a risk of asthma up the plains from, again, Texas Panhandle across Oklahoma to Kansas, Nebraska to Dakotas, and then picking up portions of the Four Corners and Colorado, Wyoming, and extreme eastern Montana. We also has that risk of asthma and arthritis in New England, actually from the easternmost portions of New York and then covering Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, and all of the southeastern portions of Canada. Thanks for visiting The Patient and the Weather. Your comments are appreciated, and if you hurt, let us know where you're located.